Port is one of Europe's great classic wines. It is produced on the steep hillside vineyards of the Upper Douro Valley, one of the world's oldest and most beautiful wine regions, where vines have been grown for over 2,000 years. Port owes its distinctive character to a unique combination of climate, soil, grape variety, and wine-making tradition found only in the Douro. Only wines made in a specific area of the valley may call themselves port. In 1756, the Douro became the first wine region to be defined and regulated by law. The boundaries of the port-producing area were carefully marked out, with 335 granite pillars called Marcouche de Feitoria, and in 1757, every one of the port vineyards was classified according to the quality of its wine. This visionary program was the creation of Portugal's illustrious First Minister, the Marquis de Pombal, whose many achievements included the rebuilding of the city of Lisbon after the devastating earthquake of 1755. Pombal effectively made port the world's first appellation d'origine contrôlée, and even today, port is subjected to one of the most rigorous and sophisticated quality controls of any classic wine. The oldest vineyards are planted on hundreds of hand-built walled terraces, clinging to the steep hillsides of the valley. These old terraces are classified as World Heritage and form one of the world's most spectacular man-made landscapes. Although wine has been made in the Douro since Roman times, the birth of port is more recent. The first shipments of wine under the name port were recorded in 1678. Taylor's, one of the oldest of the founding port houses, was established just 14 years later, in 1692. Although its birthplace is the Douro, port takes its name from the city of Oporto, the place from which it has historically been shipped. The Portuguese name, Vinho do Porto, or Wine of Oporto, became port wine in English. Many of the original port houses, such as Taylor's or Croft, were founded by English merchant families, some established in Portugal for many years. To start with, wine was not an important part of their business, but in the second half of the 17th century, they were given an historic opportunity. In 1667, Colbert, the first minister of Louis XIV of France, introduced heavy restrictions on the import of English goods. In return, King Charles II of England prohibited the import of French wines, forcing the English wine trade to look elsewhere for its supplies. The English merchants based in Portugal were quick to take advantage of the situation. They soon discovered that the thin wines of the coast were not to the liking of the English consumer. The rich and powerful wines more suited to the English palate were to be found inland, in the remote and mountainous vineyards of the Upper Douro Valley, behind the Marau Mountains. The founders of Taylor's were the first to make this journey to the Douro and establish themselves there, allowing them first choice of the finest wines. For the next 100 years, Britain remained the most important market for port. But in the 19th century, the taste for the magnificent wine of the Douro spread to other markets, such as Scandinavia, Russia, Brazil, and the United States. The 19th century saw the birth of vintage port, the very finest style, and established port firmly as one of Europe's most prestigious wines. In the 20th century, the consumption of port extended around the world, and it is now enjoyed by wine lovers and collectors in every corner of the globe. Throughout its history, Taylor's has maintained its position as one of the very finest port houses. Few producers anywhere in the world have earned as many accolades from leading wine critics or so much loyalty from collectors and wine enthusiasts.